Hey Maria, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for logging in today for your session. It's good that you logged in. How's everything been since last time that we met? I know last week we kind of met and we talked a little bit about, the program, the substance use program that you were referred through your probation in your court, and how we're going to be kind of go over some education on substance use and also some trauma because we did kind of discuss about some trauma that you could probably be going through, especially one of them being your mom not being in the story since you were a little girl. How it could affect you, and then also the relationship you currently have with your father. I know you talked about him being a little um, too much on your case on certain things, that can, give you some stress. You don't feel, you feel kind of trapped in a sense, when he's around and stuff like that. I know we talked about that and also kind of your substance use. I know you talked about just using marijuana and a little bit of alcohol when you're out with friends, but mostly the cannabis use and marijuana, which is seems like you're doing it daily, and you talked about kind of using because it helps you with your anxiety, some stress, and it also kind of helps you with your sleeping pattern and stuff like that. But let's kind of dive in. You say that you're doing okay. How has your sleeping and your anxiety and your stress been? I know that you talked about having a lot on your plate last time. How has it been going?
I feel like same as usual. I don't really see a change in like my sleeping pattern. I feel like I'm always up, constantly up all the time.
And what kind of thoughts you think come when you're trying to fall asleep, or what's in your mind when you're having a hard time sleeping? Are you kind of using your phone, or are you just there in the dark, or any new changes that you've been trying to do, or what comes in mind when you're kind of sleeping, or you have a lot on your mind and stuff like that?
Yeah, I feel like at nighttime, like when I try to relax, I can't. I keep thinking about my dad and I keep thinking about my mom, and I just notice I can't really relax and I get anxious, and all I just want to do honestly at that moment is just smoke.
Just smoke, okay.
Just to help
Have
me.
you ever have you ever tried like maybe some meditation, maybe reading like a book, or some teas. I know they have those like melatones, teas that you could kind of do to help you sleep, something to kind of help you relax. Have you ever tried any of those stuff?
I mean, I've read about it, but I haven't really tried it. 'Cause honestly, all I really know that works is smoking. So that's kind of what I rely on, especially at nighttime to kind of calm down.
Are you open to kind of trying new stuff, like maybe like doing the whole, creating a little tea for yourself before bed, maybe doing some reading to kind of keep your mind distracted, or maybe like a small little walk, some exercises before going to bed. They will kind of, help you relax, get tired, get, before bed.
I think so. I think that might be better for me. I know things right now with my dad and I aren't that great, so I feel like I need to figure an alternative just to kind of cool things down at home. So maybe.
Right. So let's talk about a little bit about your dad. How, I know you kind of mentioned you feeling him being always on your case, but I kind of mentioned last time, well, he's kind of being like a dad, like in a way, he's your dad. He worries about you. We did talk about, him just knowing how the environment you guys currently live in, in the city that you guys live in, it's a little bit unsafe. So he's just worried about you. So how do you think, you kind of meeting him in between, understanding he's just being a dad basically?
It's a little hard because I feel like right now he's just really controlling and on my case about everything. I can be doing something as simple as being on my phone and he's constantly on me, like, who are you with? Who are you talking to? And having those moments just makes me feel like I just want to get out of the situation and just kind of want to escape.
Hmm. Have you ever talked to him about that, the feeling that you've been feeling, or like kind of like talking to him to see if you guys can meet in between?
No, I haven't really thought about it. I feel like it's a little hard, but because he's very up my case about a lot of things, so I haven't really
Hmm.
thought about actually calming down and addressing the situation.
Yeah, obviously not during like a time when you're feeling that way, because it wouldn't help the case if you, when you're feeling anxious or a little upset of him being kind of maybe in a day, a time where you're kind of more calmer and stuff like that. Having that conversation with him. Being like, Dad, I understand you worry about me, but I need, to give me my space, here and there, and if I'm doing something bad or something, yeah, I will come to you or stuff like that. But right now, I just feel like you're just too much basically in a sense, but you know like let's meet in between. I know you're just carrying dad to me and stuff like that, but how can we work together? And for me, because it is affecting me a little bit, you being on top of me, I feel, you know it's close, and here, so how can we work together so I don't feel this way? You don't think that's something you're open to doing, having that conversation?
Sounds good. I always thought that the conversation had to be had then and there, but I think that's a good idea. Just waiting for me to kind of cool down and we can address it calmly. So I can give it a shot.
Yeah, and then like, what do you usually feel like? Just very angry, anxious when he's like on top of like on your case and stuff like that?
Mm, I do experience a lot of anxiety and then anger at the same time. So I just kind of want to get out and hide and, again, just resort to smoking because that's the only thing that I feel like calms me down.
Right. Have you thought about any like techniques for you to help you with your anxiety? Like maybe stepping out on the moment, kind of excusing yourself and be like, hey, dad, I'm just going to take a moment. I'm going to go to my room, take some time for myself, so you don't lash back to him and you're excited. It's not getting worse and stuff like that, just being there. Have you ever, try to just keep, on a, in your room, some time to yourself, do some breathing exercise? Have you ever done that?
No, I've never done that before.
Oh, well, breathing exercises are known to help with anxiety, especially when it's on the moment, that you're having. It kind of distracts you from the moment and it kind of, keeps you focused on your breathing and stuff like that. Will you be interested in us kind of doing like a little demonstration right now that for us to kind of practice one breathing technique?
I would try it out.
Okay. So obviously, like I say, you will kind of exit yourself from the situation or whatever. In this case, when you're talking to your dad, and him giving you just kind of apologize and be like, hey, I just need a moment, dad. I'm going to go to my room, go to a quiet room, kind of focus on the environment you're currently at. Just sit yourself down with your feet flat. If you want to do it right now as well, with your feet flat.
Okay.
And still kind of focusing on your environment and kind of just, breathing through your nose. Focus on that breathing and then let it out. But feel it towards your chest area as well. And out. And still kind of focusing on the breathing, just and kind of distracting you from everything. How does that feel?
I actually felt a little bit better.
Yeah,
Just,
it kind of, helps you, focus just on your breathing and kind of distracts you from whatever feeling you were having in the moment. And then it also keeps your heartbeat, like a normal,
mm,
instead of the whole anxious heartbeat that we usually tend to have when we have anxiety, stuff like that.
okay. I did
Is
feel
that
much.
something you will try for the next time for when you're put in a situation that like that with your dad?
Yeah, I think next time I'll be more communicative and tell him that I just need a moment and do that and hopefully
Yes.
it'll be better and that way I don't have to resort to what I've been resorting to. So I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yes. And then is this anxiety and stress just happening at home or at school as well or with your friends? How is that?
It does happen at school, having a hard time keeping track with my friends, not so often because I feel like they're my friends and I can be myself around them.
Okay. But in school, like, are you think you're handling well right now, or are you struggling a little bit? I know you talked about you have been struggling a little bit keeping up with your grades. The stress and anxiety happen at school as well.
It's challenging. I feel like I have some opportunity there, just, but it does feel better when I'm out with my friends. Like I know we do things that we're not supposed to, but it's kind of like a little getaway. So
Right. But I know that we talked about, your friends kind of being like some peer, pressure, on your substance use. I know that they are also smoke as well. Have you ever thought about finding other activities that you can relate to your friends too? I know it's a little hard because they're all smoke, but figuring out there are other things you guys can do. For instance, like maybe go for a walk or maybe a movie, or just kind of being honest with them. Hey, I'm working on myself right now. I'm going through a program, for substance, as part of my probation and my course case, and I will appreciate you guys' support. You don't think that would be supportive for you and kind of not use while you're
Mm,
around them?
I mean, I can give it a shot. It's something that I haven't really thought of because that's all they know is just, smoking. So,
Yeah. And I know we mentioned, smoking kind of helps you guys, have some fun and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure you guys finding other stuff that could be fun and they're giving you the same feeling that the marijuana is giving you guys. We could switch it to that. And it could be sometimes even walking or doing small things with them, that can replace that. And you're still hanging out with them, and they're still your friends and stuff like that. But just finding new activities to do with them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about school? Like I know you mentioned you're struggling. Have you ever teamed up with one of your teachers per se, or maybe a counselor to see if you could, sign up for any like tutoring or any after school programs that can help you if, because I know you say you were kind of struggling with some of your grades, but have you ever teamed up with one of them to see how they can help you?
No, I didn't really think about any alternatives at all. I just feel like I have to figure it out on my own, but I guess finding out that there are other ways to receive help, that does sound good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's worth a try, asking for help, especially because you say you do want to finish high school. And that's your ultimate goal to finish high school. And I think it's worth a try asking for help, even when it comes to school stuff.
Okay. I can give it that a shot too.
Yeah. And then for your mom, just to kind of like, because I know we're coming to an end to our session, but talk a little bit about your mom. I know that she's currently sort of in your life, but not really, because she's also struggling through some behavioral health stuff with her mental health. And I know she left you at a young age, and it's a big trauma because it's your mom, basically. But have you ever thought of a way for you? I know you want to reconnect with her, but right now it's not the safest place, for you guys to reconnect, not only for yourself and also for her. But have you ever thought about maybe like writing a letter to her, how you're feeling and stuff like that, and how you would want to, fix your guys' relationship and stuff like that?
No, I haven't, but I think that would be a good idea. I always felt like if I have her in my life, I would have to physically have her in my life, but I think writing a letter will definitely help kind of
Because you,
relieve.
because you still want her to be part of your life, right, in the near future, right?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it comes from her not being here, and I don't know how to cope with a lot of things. So,
Yeah. I think it's starting with small little steps, obviously, and you both are taking that steps. You're here, getting therapy. She's getting help in her end, and get for each other working together for your guys' self and to you guys are in a good space. And I think a letter potentially writing your feelings will help because I know that does affect a lot of your anxiety and stress, her not being there and stuff like that. So maybe like writing like a letter of stuff that you're feeling in the moment, stuff that you want to tell your mom, basically, and the letter will kind of help relieve some of those feelings you have inside.
okay.
Or
I
have
think,
you ever talked to your dad about it?
um, no, I just feel like with my dad, the whole issue I have with him is just the whole on my case and controlling thing. And I have a lot of different things in different places, but I think the letter will definitely probably help
Yeah. And
relieve.
we could even read it on our next session if you want. Like if you ever write it or any sessions, you could read it to me and we could discuss, some of those feelings that you wrote on that.
Yeah, I would like that. I think that would help out a lot, honestly.
Yes, yes. And then for your dad, I think it's also worth us kind of working on that relationship as well. Would you ever feel comfortable kind of bringing him on one of our therapies, to have him here to kind of discuss some of those things? That could be another option for you. I know that we talked about earlier about maybe setting, some, a moment for you to talk to him. But sometimes we need somebody there, to kind of like help us, motivate us to have that conversation.
Yeah, I think it'll help having a third party kind of give us a different perspective. So, and it'll make me feel safe talking.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
gotta show.
I think it'll be great for us to have him join. Obviously not now because we're kind of getting still acquainted with us and your program and stuff like that. But I think he should be part of one of our, because I'm pretty sure he wants the best of you. He wants to for you to succeed and get out of all these cases that you unfortunately got into, but and being in substance. But I think it will be a great for him to be, and it could be a motivational for you as well, and being here for you and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, but Maria, we are running out of time. But is there anything else that you want to bring up today in the session? Do you think it went well, or anything that we could try differently next time?
No, I think it went well. I think this week, before our following session, I'll definitely try the exercises that you gave me just to see if it makes me feel better and if I see a difference. So I'll give it a shot.
Nice. So let me schedule you for the next session. It'll be in telehealth, so I'll send you the link, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Take care.
Thank